Corsten's Press sponsors Off the Stage podcast 2023. Get that sparkling rhubarb on a nice summer's day.
Because everybody needs a little tart.
Everyone needs a little tart, did you say?
No, I'm good, I think.
Everyone needs I can't tell who's speaking, it's really weird.
Answered the joke, it was funny.
And that was great. Where are we?
Okay, yeah. Are we ready to start? I'll start properly. Yeah, okay.
Go on.
Yeah, okay. 3, 2, 1, we're in the room. Cool.
Now go.
Hello there. Welcome to Off the Stage. It's the show where we take musicians off the stage and into the pub to talk about the ins and outs of the music world. We're back at the Vaux Brewery. No, we're not. We're back. Honest to God, right? I keep thinking the Vaux room, but we're not even in the Vaux room, are we?
We're back at the sitting room.
The sitting room.
ISIS.
That's next to the Vaux room. That's in the ISIS pub. I'm James Berry. This is
normally get names of artists wrong, but
I know the name of the pub. I've only been doing this a year, haven't I? You know what? I'm actually
here on Saturday.
Genuinely, I'm blaming the heat.
Uh-huh.
I'm so warm at the moment. Like I cannot concentrate with heat. It just doesn't do.
And with us today, we have Philip Jonathan.
Yay!
And bang.
I'm just gonna sit in the corner and just have my drink. Okay, just talk amongst yourselves.
Speaking of which, the first question is, what are you drinking?
Well, we had a bit of a discussion about this beforehand, but we have got Corsten Press rhubarb blended with crisp apple. Apparently, wait, sorry, I don't know where to get apparently from. I can't read. Sparkling water. It's basically these are the new sponsors, whether they like it or not. So.
Yeah, we do that sometimes. We'll sponsor people, but don't actually get paid for it. It's great.
It does also want to make it very clear that it's deliciously tart.
It is deliciously tart.
And then when you turn it round, it says tart rhubbarb. It's a very tart rhubarb.
It is
drink. Are you getting the tart?
It is the note on the tongue. Yeah, it is a bit
tarty. That's what my dad used to say. He's from Manchester. It's tarty.
What about yourself? You look like you got a slightly different beverage.
Something slightly different. I got a pint of North Sea Bitter. I'm not sure why I picked it. Perhaps a combination of...
Not your personality.
Well, I was going to say my favourite body of water combined with my favourite emotion, perhaps. But, we'll see. But North Sea Bitter. Not sure who the brewery is, but it's downstairs on tap and it's pretty good.
Good.
What is this? What is this?
It's called Twice Brewed and it's a bubblegum sour.
Okay.
Ooh, I want a bubblegum sour.
But it's green.
I'm just curious what it's been brewed in.
It's sour. Oh, I go with that.
Tart.
You'd think it would be
Tarty.
blue.
That's fine. Would anybody like to try it?
Yeah, I do.
Do you know what? Yeah.
Go for it. Pass it around.
Thank you.
So
You know what? I had
sup of this.
I had a bubblegum flavoured ice cream. Yeah.
Fantastic
Right.
reaction.
Sorry, but we need to take the tart off this and put it on. Sorry, Corsten.
Sorry.
Keep up.
It's very tarty episode, this, isn't it?
That's got a kick.
I like watching everyone's facial reaction to this.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, that's nice.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
It looks
Had
like
this
something I
once
might have
before.
non-ironically drunk in the early 2000s.
Oh.
Well,
it's like Tang Fastics without the sugar.
It is.
I'm sure there's plenty of sugar in there.
Yeah.
Go on, James.
Go on, I'll have a little
No,
try.
James has had this before.
Have I?
That's
Yeah, we
nice.
had this a few months back when it was back in.
it's managed to repress it.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
It's well
But
nice.
the reason I didn't get on that is because I thought let's go for a mystery drink. There's something you've not had before. So let's play the game, James.
What have I had?
Guess that drink.
Right. Okay. Hang on. Heartburn. Hopefully not heart attack. Live on radio.
That'd be awesome.
If you,
It's just a podcast. We don't have DAB.
Yeah.
can we guess?
Yeah, would you like to try? I don't.
I'm
Oh, I was
guessing you
gonna say
didn't
from
order
a-
this drink.
No, it's a
Just
surprise
forgot what
drink.
you
It's called a
ordered.
mystery
Although
drink
that is usually what I do, to be honest. But
Ooh,
it's got a weird aftertaste. I feel.
that's complex.
Yeah, it is. It's got a. It's like a.
I was going to say, from afar it looked like mango.
That's good too.
Yeah.
Did you buy these drinks, Connor? They're good.
I know.
Good drinks.
Honestly,
I'll back down.
So feels like
See, they do some brilliant sours at the ISIS.
underripe clementine.
Throw out some grapefruit.
Yeah,
or
it's
something
got a
there,
bit of like it's a bit grapefruity. Yeah, I'm thinking it's got a grapefruit
It has
aftertaste to it.
maybe. Grapefruit
Yes,
and 3 other
Look at
people's
that.
backwash.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
it's not a
Or I
Schofferhofer.
had one as well.
Taste of Philip Jonathan now.
Band.
I don't know. You might as well tell us. But it's
So this one is
I love how you took a picture of it.
pineapple and grapefruit sour.
Oh.
It's called Lil Tea,
I can taste this pineapple.
Like lilt. Ah,
as in lilt, but
Lil Tea.
Nice.
Right.
Wonder what the T
which
stands
brewery?
for.
Flowerhorn.
Also sponsoring this today's
I think you have to call
podcast.
it light blue Fantery now, don't you?
Yeah. So yeah, that's grapefruit.
That's-
I mean, in the break, go get yourself a bubble gum because
I'm
it's
like,
fantastic.
I'm gonna get the bubblegum on later. I mean, even though I nearly died drinking the one sip, but
It's a lot. Oh, right. That's the alcohol section of this podcast out of the way. So obviously, if we've got any viewers rather than just audio listeners, when I say Philip Jonathan, and to be fair, even the audio listeners, you've heard plenty of voices, will notice there's more than just one Philip Jonathan.
Yeah, not running the multi-personality disorder.
So who are we and what do we do to the band?
I am Alicia, and I have the pleasure of being Philip Jonathan's backing vocalist. Greatest joy in life. No offence to my husband.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like... Joel will be having words with me afterwards.
But that's me.
And I'm Ant, and I have two primary roles in the band. One of them is playing the bass, and the other is expertly riding on Phil's coattails all the way to the bank.
Such that the monetary value of this band is...
Oh yeah.
yeah, obviously raking it in.
Oh, we know. We saw what the income of the festival was.
yeah.
And we're going to try and divide that by the 10 acts that we had. And,
Oh, no, invest it in the podcast, guys.
Well, we'll see. It's not enough to buy a pint, but
Yeah.
it was the donations on the door kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, it's brilliant. And I'm Philip Jonathan, but that's not actually my... Well, it's not my full name, but I'll keep that. It's
So
like...
we've got time for your full name.
well,
It's like Dumbledore and Harry Potter.
Dumbledore, yeah, like 7 different names.
Alfred Bry and Wilfric.
Yeah. Well, no, if I say it, like, I've already... I sound posh enough without saying my full
That
name.
is true.
I'm an adopted northerner.
Okay.
I'm not actually from
Where are you
here.
originally from?
All over, really. Born in Oxford, and lived in like Cheltenham and the States and Lancashire,
Oh,
and then
It's a
came
big
up.
change from the States.
yeah.
It is, yeah. And then came up here for uni and absolutely loved the Northeast and I've not left. I
Yeah,
do it
that's
then.
cool. That's cool.
How long have you been in the North East then?
Oh, how old am I? 11 years.
Oh, wow.
God, that is
So-
That's commitment.
Really, that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
It's a
you
good
are a
place.
northerner. I feel
Thank
like
you.
11 years, isn't it?
Yeah, that's acceptable. I reckon.
Is it
So,
acceptable?
Yeah.
Can I
Naturally.
submit my level 1 application?
You
And
can.
Alicia is head of that committee, so I feel that that's...
Yeah, I have to say.
Here's the authority stamps. So what kind of genre would you say best describes your kind of sound?
I had a big debate about this one for a while when I started because I'm heavily like inspired by a lot of the folk scene, but also it's not trad folk. And then I'm also like classically trained. Before I sort of started, like I just did like music lessons for a long time with violin and piano, and so then like I had like I really like enjoy like film music and stuff like that, and kind of try and bring sort of that more orchestral stuff into the online stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say it's like alt/cinematic folk.
Yeah, the word I was going to use is like
good.
prog folk, because you can do a really cool build up towards the
Alright.
end of a lot of your songs. It's like
Yeah.
really cool because you like the loop pedal and
Yeah.
the extra. Don't know if I'm assuming like the pre-saves that you've got on the loop pedal to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I try and like weave those into live tracks, and so some of it's like pre-saved ones, some of it's being built up. A lot of all the string stuff is being built up on the day, which is always risky. And then I've just like I try and use it like an instrument to try and sort of add little bits and like try and get that sort of full.
What I noticed, it's very like a. Is this the right word to use? I'm not good with words. Ethereal, back, like dreamy style, kind of like back in things that just adds that little extra chef's kiss towards the end of the
take that,
performance.
Yeah.
It's a great compliment. Thank you.
Say he's one with words, James.
Yes.
next time I start like one of the back tracks, I'll just sort of start that ethereal background. But
Yeah.
James told me that.
Yeah, big shout out. One with words. Go check out his new song, No Regrets. It's got R-A-G.
Don't forget to check out Connor's song with W-I-T-H-E. It's
We
spelled
don't like
wrong.
to spell words right on this one. Speaking of songs, I actually wrote this next question watching your set on Saturday. So for any viewers watching, obviously this episode comes out a few weeks after, but to us 2 days ago we did the Off the Stage Fest. Very great
It was
success.
so good.
Thank you to everyone who played. And thank you to everyone who turned up.
Yep.
I'm sure you're all watching this now, eh?
Yeah.
You better be.
But the question I had is, at the time, I nearly had a tear in my eye watching one of your songs. Okay.
Oh.
And it was...
They're not that bad.
There it is. That's why I invited him along.
it was a song called Giant or Giants.
Yeah.
And the question I had is like, how long does it take you to write your songs, including all the loop parts that you want and having it formed with the band? Because like I do the loop pedal stuff, but I'm just a one-man band. I'll write a song on guitar and then I'll figure the loop out later on.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
presume having to use a loop and band members, you've got to kind of configure between each other, or
How well? Might actually ask you guys what your experience of that chaotic process is.
Oh, I came in quite late to the whole process. I came after the Pluma EP had already been released.
okay,
So came in as a live musician, just to add some bass, and then stuck around. So having seen that process once it's already formed, I think it's probably quite different to how it actually goes. It seems quite effortless when you watch it.
yeah,
So it makes my job nice and easy.
of course,
But certainly hearing some of the new stuff that's going to be coming out later, there is certainly a lot of effort that goes into the arrangements, and I imagine Phil probably a bit too modest to describe it, but certainly might give it a go. I don't know.
Have you been involved in the new recording stuff since you've been part of the band now?
I visited the studio with Phil the other day and recorded about 8 bars of bass
Counts.
into a song
Counts.
which was,
That's enough to be written in the royalties.
which is otherwise
50% he asked for.
into a song which is otherwise already finished.
But you're also like, I think you've got an ear for. Sorry, it's a slight digression, but you got an ear for like the details of the whole track. So I was like, because also understanding yourself, it was basically final touch-ups for like the entire EP, and so just went through them, and I was like, it was really useful just to have someone else, especially who knows the music, in the room, just be like, oh, what do you think, and just sort of giving that like little tweaks here and there. I think you need that. It's sort of like, I don't know, like if you find this in the recording studio, when you just get to a point you're like, I don't, this is as good as I can do, and I've kind of like, that's when
different
like,
perspective.
you have get people in to bring it like further than you can ever do it by yourself.
Absolutely. I did that today. I was at the studio before this,
nice.
and I was recording a song that I do on loop pedal, and it's just pure acoustic guitar build up. And the producer I'm using was like, oh, we'll try like this electric thing, but instead of just playing raw electric, he's kind of done like little like tap sounds on the electric with a bit of a sound. And I've just played it to James before, and he's like, you know what, when I heard you playing that song the other day, I was envisioning them kind of tap sounds, but I wouldn't have known how to put it in.
Yeah, it's like,
Nice.
But that's the producer
cool,
I was
yeah.
using. and
If I was your guitar player, that's exactly what I would have done with that song.
Nice, yeah.
But it's different perspectives.
Yeah.
Kind of make that song that's finished better, kind of thing.
So seamlessly weaving that back into your original question.
You can do that.
So it's a multi-stage process. So like, I don't have like a fixed rule about how I write songs. So there's songs like Giant, I think I wrote in about 10 minutes, where it just came out. And then there's one at the moment which I've been trying to write for a year. I've now got like 2 verses, but that took so much time, and it's not even close to finished. But often like often I'll start with music, and I'd just be like noodling around on the loop pedal, just trying like different like sounds. Other times it'll just be stuff on the guitar, and then I'll try and fit in arrangements. So Chokehold's an example of that, where I wrote it on the guitar, and I was like, I need or really want some more violin songs in the live set, and so like I wrote a live part for the violins, which comes in like as almost like a prequel song to Chokehold, and then fade it all out, start from nothing, and then weave the strings back in again through the song. So then the process then like it's kind of that before it's finished, but when I've got like a solid idea, then I like to bring it over to these guys. Unless you've been with me for a long time now. How many years?
I think it started in lockdown, didn't it?
Lockdown, yeah. So like, I don't know, whenever that was. The missing
years ago, yeah.
I remember
the missing years.
You sent like a bunch of demos to me because Phil asked me to be his backing vocalist just before you started recording. You were like just about to go into the studio, I think.
Yeah.
And I think you sent me like In the Garden, Giant, quite a lot of the stuff that's like released now. And it was pretty like much there in terms of its structure and its sound. And I don't think there hasn't been many times where you've shown me something and it's not had more ideas than just the like bare bones.
Right, yeah.
And I think, I know I'm like, I champion you all the time, but there really is so much creativity embodied in Phil. And whenever I hear his music, it's never just like one layer of like bare bones. This is an idea. It's like 25 layers. Yeah. And then he's like, so what do you think? And I just think, well, I have literally no idea what to say because there's so much creativity in what you do. Yeah. And whether you bring me in on that process straight away or not, there always seems to be those layers. I think you just naturally come at it from that angle.
I think it's probably testament to your classical training as well, because I'm sure we'll probably touch on this at some point soon. But you came into this from a completely different angle to the rest of us, so through classical music and then into kind of folk and trad folk and then through that, rather than a lot of the way that guitar players come into music. And I think that's probably the way that things are arranged, especially the strings things, are probably just kind of a very happy byproduct of that pathway through classical.
Thank you, Vivaldi. Shouts out.
Boy Vivi.
My boy.
He's on next week, isn't he? That's cool. So, obviously, you getting involved in the lockdowns. Were you gigging live before the lockdowns? Just you and the loop pedal violin, or?
Yeah. Well, where did that begin?
The solo project.
Yeah. So I was writing music probably since I was like 13 or 14. In the first 10 years, that was almost entirely instrumental. And then like I had a bunch of songs, and but I was like, I'm never going to play these live because it's just imposter syndrome. It's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So sitting on this stuff, and eventually, I think it was like we had like we had this like little community project we ran in Whitley Bay, and a bunch of friends. We kind of had this like we went along to an open mic, and would have like people just invite anyone over for dinner beforehand, and sort of and we'd all just start playing, and sort of in that environment where you've got people like championing you and stuff like that. That's when I started just doing like open mic stuff, and then I think it's just literally just like encouragement from friends. It just shows, I think, how much encouragement matters, and like actually like
a big part of starting out, at least.
Exactly, a big part of starting out. And so I had a little solo project, and about that time I bought the loop pedal to start sort of weaving stuff in live. And then I did one gig. The summer of 2020 was looking like a good summer.
Yeah, it felt like it. I was like, everything's over. That's great. Let's enjoy ourselves.
Very quickly changed.
Yeah. So I had my first ever gig and one member of the band is missing. Is our drummer, who's phenomenal. He was with me at the time, as was another friend who was doing some keys. And then we had that, and then lockdown happened, and that was it. And then we just went back online. But then ended up meeting Alicia.
That was final gig with the drummer.
It was the most interesting pair up. I think I've done some interesting gigs. Things have gone very wrong in a lot of them, but like that was the most interesting pair up, where it was me. I had a drummer and guy on keys, and then we were opening for a very heavy metal band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, first gig. I don't think the crowd knew what to do, like, because it was like also like a massive room, like probably 200 people capacity. Yeah. But then there's a bunch of tables all at the back of the room, So everyone's like in the dark at the back of the room, and there's a massive space in front, and everyone's like, and everyone I think had come. There was like a bunch of my friends who were just also like not really into metal, and then a bunch of proper hardcore metalheads.
I reckon they'd like that, you know, because there's something like, I think if it's something so different, but I think your music, especially like, was it this lineup that was doing that, or was it
with the drummer and keyboard? Yeah,
I was gonna say, because your kind of music, it is quite like, I don't know, mesmerising is the right word. Yeah, people just be like, what the hell is this? Like,
what the hell is this?
In a good way though, just because it's so different. And I reckon they'd probably enjoy that, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed their set, because then all everyone else, all the people who came for them, got up and just started like moshing in the middle, and I was like,
it'd be great if it was like the reverse order. They were all moshing and then they were just sat in on to the next ones. Just before we go to the first break, a question I should have asked when we asked who you guys are. So how do you guys know each other? How did you become part of the band?
Oh, that's a good question. Alicia, you.
Shall I go first? So I moved to Newcastle with my husband in 2019, just after we got married, to actually plant a church in the city centre, and ended up meeting Phil through like an evening dinner thing where we ended up chatting. Didn't see him for ages, and then lockdown hit, and one of our friends that we'd met, that Phil had also met, that I knew as well, set up like a Zoom songwriting group. So it was a group of about 10 of us who were all really passionate about songwriting, maybe written our own stuff or worked collectively. And Phil was a part of that. And they sort of like set these challenges where like every other week we'd come for the next Zoom meeting, and then we'd share the songs and listen together. It was like the most encouraging space ever.
Yeah, it was really good, really useful. I wrote several songs, which I'm doing now actually in that time.
Yeah. And I remember actually just before that we met once in person. Do you remember? And I remember we'd not really met that much.
Yes.
We'd maybe met once before. I remember at someone's house, and we're all sharing these songs, and Phil was like, oh, actually I have my guitar in my car, I'll share a song with you. And you know when someone says that they're a songwriter and they're going to share a song with you, but you just don't know where this is going to go.
You're thinking,
like you're just like, this could be amazing, or this could fall like a lead balloon.
Either way, you got to be like, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
And she never stopped.
Like, you don't know what it's going to be like. And I remember you played Headlights.
Yeah, it was Headlights.
And a pit, like you could hit a pin drop. It was like every single person in the room was like, oh my goodness. And so we ended up being in that songwriting group. And then about halfway through, I think I'd written a song and Phil wanted to sort of collab on it, which was really fun. So we like swapped Logic projects over lockdown. And then you just called me up, didn't you? And you were like, oh, I'd absolutely love it if you could be my backing vocalist. I'm thinking of going to the studio and starting a music project. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, a celebrity has called me, giving me the greatest opportunity.
Yeah.
So honestly,
less of the celebrity.
It was, and then we basically, for most of the time, just before we went into the studio, we did a lot of harmony writing and listening and recording, just in terms of me learning the music through Zoom. So he'd like sing it, and then I'd sing it back, and then I'd like record it on my phone. I've got loads of recordings on my phone of us just on Zoom together singing with the delay.
It was like you know, like when you're still figuring out how to use all the online tools and stuff.
Like goes difficult. It's like the latency, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
latency.
Like,
so we were like literally just sharing MP3s. It was I don't actually know. You had a lot of patience. Thank you.
That's okay.
It's fine. Like lockdown for you. Like lockdown, I think was probably the greatest shift of bands splitting up and bands getting together, because you got like lockdown hit and obviously there's no gigs, so a lot of bands were like, oh, let's just pack it in, and then nobody was doing anything. So it's like someone messages you saying, so what you up to? It's like literally nothing. So, oh, do you fancy doing this? Good eye. That's honestly, it's every single guest we've had. It's like, so how did you form? Well, during lockdown. It's the first thing that they say. Anyway, sorry, I was interrupting. The great reset.
Right. What about you, Ant?
Everyone's looking at me expectantly. So Phil and I first met through work. We've got an extremely similar job. We work in the same field, and he has exactly the same job as me, just a couple of years behind.
He's my senior.
Not in that way, but also, so we met through work, and it's like, I play a bit of music. I play a bit of music as well. And just we'll maybe get together at some point and jam and play and things like that. And I didn't realise the extent to which he was into music.
Yeah.
And I went to a wedding of an old university mate, and it just so happened to be in the same town where Phil was playing a gig the night after. So I stayed over that evening, kind of unplanned. Thought, we'll go along to the gig, see what's going on. And it was Phil and Alicia and Johnny, the drummer. And I was sat there thinking, right, I've got to be part of this. It was a great gig, a fantastic gig. I thought, I've got to try and shoehorn my way in somehow.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did.
It's very welcome.
Success.
And they haven't found me out yet, but no, it's nice. It's really nice to be able to share both a musical interest, but also have that context outside of music to kind of develop a good friendship over the last kind of year or so. And it's been quite nice. We had a very different lockdown to most people, I imagine.
Yeah, I think like friendship is very underestimated in the world of music. You can be the most talented person in the world, but if you're a dickhead, nobody wants to work with you.
I'm still a dickhead. But just on the level of tolerability.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to have that.
Not at all. I think that actually, that's something which I think one of the most sort of pleasant surprises of doing music has been sort of getting to know people from so many different backgrounds that I probably wouldn't necessarily come across in the day to day, and but particularly these guys and Johnny, who's the drummer, just just the most wonderfully surprising friendssops.
Yeah,
so it's been great. Yeah,
we love you too.
Yeah, thank you. Soccer moment. Yeah.
Wholesome podcast we've done actually.
Sounds
really enjoying
a
this,
nice way to start to end this part.
Yeah, I would say so.
And then we come back with what's your favourite
And we
swear
come back
word?
And what's your biggest?
Really think.
What's your biggest issues with working with Phil?
It's question 1 on the second part. So brace yourself.
Right, so we take a short break. We'll be back soon. Thanks for listening so far. Yeah, I got it right.
Alright, how long's that one up?
Nice.
You ready? Yep. 3, 2, 1. We're back in the room.
We're back, baby!
And welcome back to side 2.
So just following from part 1. So what's the one thing you don't like about Philip then?
Well, let me go first.
Hey, top 5.
Just because I've got a notebook over there.
Well,
He already knows.
I already know. We had this chat in the car.
Okay.
I braced myself.
So yeah, welcome back, part 2. Just as I was saying before, the question that we were going to put in part 1 that got dropped down is a new segment called Up and Personal. This is where you get to open your heart to our audio listeners. So the question is, what's the most personal song that you've written or released, and what is it about?
I'd say probably it's probably got to be I was going to say before, I had a mixture of two songs. It's about the same thing in two different sort of views on it, and that's one which is coming out in the next EP called Just a Man, and one that was on the last one called Chokehold. When I was just come out of uni, I was living with a friend who, a really good friend who got diagnosed with terminal cancer, and then unfortunately after about a year and a half of sort of going through that, he unfortunately passed away. And so Chokehold is basically just about dealing with the grief of that and the process of coming to terms with that loss and trying to put words to that. And I think the tagline for Pluma, the EP, which is really the tagline for the EP was finding hope in the highest, lowest, and most mundane moments of life, and that would definitely come into the sort of lowest bits. And one thing that really sort of mattered to him through that process was he kept on seeing all these feathers everywhere, and for him that meant like hope.
Okay.
And for him, like he was someone who had like quite a personal faith, and that was something which really kept him going, and that he found a lot of hope in. And I guess that I've never gone through anything like that myself, but I just can't really imagine sort of what it's like to go through that. But like Just a Man, which is coming out on the next one, is basically about like I wrote for him as he went through that journey of like really wrestling with his faith and working out like, oh, where is God in the middle of this? And I guess so it's about sort of maybe written for him about sort of like where is God in the middle of this suffering that he's going through, and I guess coming to the conclusion that like, well, in the faith that we share, it's that the God that I guess I believe in went through the same thing. So yeah, that's kind of like what that's about. So it's just sort of I think that captures a lot of a lot of questions I've had over the last 5 years as well. Like that's a big part of like I'm not a Christian artist. I don't but like that kind of seeps into a lot of
it's part of your life.
It's part of my life. It's part of my worldview and perspective, and I'm not out there trying to be like, I'm not trying to force anything on anyone else, but it's like
you're not on the streets going, and then the seventh day.
But it's definitely like a way that I guess like we all live in boxes in worldviews, and that's one that I happen to have. And
it's cool.
I'm looking forward to that song, to be honest. Do you have like a rough idea when that's going to be out? Yeah,
it'll come out with the EP, so it's not really like a summer banger. So it's coming out on the EP. It's definitely one of the quieter ones. It's just like, because the EP, like for this next one, we've really pushed into like getting like really big arrangements, and there are a lot like more upbeat songs in general than the previous EP, and this is like very much a counterpoint on that. So it's just piano and vocal, and actually recorded like sitting down on a piano stool as the beginning and ending to it. So it's trying to get that sort of raw feeling to it, but that'll be out on the EP, which I don't know when that will be out, but because I'm rubbish at setting dates because I always break them. It's just trying to balance lots of things in life. So, but I reckon they've got two more singles to come out, and then that. So maybe end of this year.
Oh, brilliant!
Or
it sounds like really well structured as well. Because obviously a lot of people go through that kind of thing anyway, but the way that you put your own spin on it and your own side, it's a really nice structure. Thanks. Look forward to hearing it.
Yeah. And this is why from next week they were asking, what's your second most personal song?
Sorry, I did warn you. It's a heavy one. It's a heavy one.
We dropped ours last week.
My second most personal one is about my favourite ice cream flavour.
Right, this is about the pencil.
I'll not go into that one. I was there before. It may seem like I was being a bit distracted, but I was looking for Just Ask James. Because on Reddit, what I do is, so there's a Reddit thread called r/musicians, where people ask questions, dilemmas they're in, and we try to answer them he usually gives terrible advice. I try to give my best advice, but it's a bit of fun.
This is the first thing I'm doing once we finish the podcast, is going to find this.
However,
I want to read this advice.
Well, there's some bad news, because r/musicians is just gone. It's it doesn't exist anymore.
At all?
No, it's just vanished from
there's a
Reddit.
big blackout on Reddit at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I think that
protest type thing.
Yeah, and obviously r/musicians is there, so this is the end. My only friend, the end of Just Ask James. Unless r/musicians makes a comeback.
That's double bad news because that's part of the podcast segment gone, and we're going to get copyrighted for that last bit as well.
Honestly, my singing would not. They're not trace my singing back there.
Surely you can find an equally toxic side of the internet as Reddit to find questions from.
Well, I mean,
the internet's not that toxic, is it?
I mean, to be honest, there is one called r/songwriting, which I do have. I mean, I could do one from here. Yeah. Shall I just pick a random one and just okay? I don't know. I haven't looked at this. This is probably a bad idea.
That's what random is.
So this one just says, average guitarist, terrible songwriter. How do I remedy this? This is by user Water Cooler Comedian. I love the names on Reddit. It goes like this. Hey everyone, so I've been studying guitar for 3 years now and absolutely love it. My end goal is to make music, but I'm becoming discouraged. While I can play okay enough, I feel like my chord progressions don't sound very good and I'm not coming up with good melodies or anything. I've been recording myself playing since I started and have a few chord progressions, but I feel like they're just really lacking. I try to use interesting chords and I can do bar chords and I play relatively fast in mute strings and all that. I don't know what I think he's thinking like he's like punk or whatever. But I'm just not coming up with good ideas, I don't think. Where do I start? I'm worried that maybe I'm just not creative enough. I think we've got a really good songwriter in well, I think we're all good songwriters, I'd like to think. Anyway, I think we could help this guy, couldn't we? Where's he going wrong?
I didn't know how long you were going to...
I
was like, is this a monologue?
This could be long with...
This guy's having a rant.
I'll try.
I've got a problem with my mother-in-law.
Everything is going wrong.
Is my mother-in-law the reason why I'm not good at songwriting?
Yes, give her a go. No.
I mean, do we have any advice? It seems he's more caught up on chord progression and not.
I'm not sure if now's the right time to reveal that my Reddit username is Water Cooler.
Being caught out.
We've got some news for you. Songwriting advice. At the minute, I'm in a bit of a rut of trying to write a song. It's just not happening. I watched a few Ed Sheeran documentaries, and he says the best thing to do is write a song, and it's going to sound shit. Then write the next one, it's going to sound shit. Then write the next one, it's still going to sound shit. And it's kind of like turning on a brand new tap. You're going to get loads of dirty water, and eventually you're going to get these little bits of pure water that come out with it. And the more you keep that tap running, it's just going to flow.
Yeah, that's a good advice.
So he says, no matter how bad the song is, make sure you finish it. And my biggest issue is I get about a verse and a chorus through and go, I don't even want to waste my time finishing that. And then I try the next one, and now I've got like 7 songs there. I'm like, if I finish them, it might work, but they're all shit. Essentially, the best advice I would say is stick at it. When you write a bad one, in 5 years' time, you'll have a better one, and you'll look back and go, I can't believe I came from there. And
yeah. I mean, I think the best advice
or just
given...
give up.
Well, just give up, yeah.
The best advice in here, I think, comes
Move
from
over to painting.
Kilometers Davis username. It just says, get your heart broken.
Well,
Doing a
Tinder.
Yeah. Tinder.
That's one way. There's probably less painful ways. Have you got any thoughts? This is also a fantastic songwriter in her own regard.
Well, you can get the violins out, but I'm not going to lie. I feel a bit like that sometimes. Like, I don't feel like the strongest guitarist or the strongest songwriter, but I think the areas that have like empowered me the most is sharing in vulnerability and allowing people to encourage me. And that's not just looked like people saying, oh my gosh, you're amazing, although there are some people that have kindly said things like that, but also people that have said that's great but it could be better, or maybe think about this a little bit differently. Phil's been one of those people. There's a pool of people in my life who I feel very safe to share my songs with that I have written, and that tends to be the most vulnerable part of yourself, which is a little difficult, right, sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think I feel encouraged by the fact that there are little rules when it comes to music, and the more I get involved in sort of the local scene, doing gigging with Phil and meeting other artists, I think when you get around creative people, you actually learn,
it unlocks,
I'm actually all right at this, because they've broken all those boundaries that I thought were up, like those walls that I thought were up in my creative world, you've just broken down. And I think that that's really empowering.
Honest songwriting, I think. I think if you can write an honest song that's true to you, I think that's if when you can unlock that and finally like show your emotion, because then that's when you create something original, because nobody else, I mean, people have felt similar things, but no one's felt it within yourself. So I think that's probably the most philosophical thing I've ever said on this podcast.
Song lyric right there, James.
What's the philosophical paradigm there?
It's your song. Like it could be very similar. Like a lyric that you would write when you're feeling your emotion could sound very similar to someone else who's written something similar, but it's not the same, because it's your feeling that you're feeling. And I think that's what he's not understood. I think he's just thought, I need chords and I need a melody, and that would make a good song. No, it doesn't really make a good song. A good song is pouring your heart out and
pure emotion.
I mean, it's not to show up, but I just find kind of a foolproof way to kind of get over this, and not to worry about chords, not to worry about melodies. And what you need to do is just going to put your guitar down for 5 minutes and pick up a bass.
And then you never pick the guitar up again.
And then just leave it.
And then you get people going, "Where's the other 2 strings?"
I can't take any credit for this because it's totally taken from a really inspirational video I watched when I was about 13, which it's just stuck in my memory about like how this guy in this video was just explaining how like your taste often develops ahead of your ability, and you can spend a long time chasing your taste, and like actually if you can be really crap and not know it, and that's sometimes a really like, blissful ignorance is a great place to be. But like actually, like it's not. Don't judge the fact that your taste is, and it takes hard work to catch up. But allow your taste to be a teacher as well. And I think that was encouraging for me, because I think I spent probably the first 10, 15 years of songwriting. Yeah, basically until I started sharing, which is also very true. Everything you guys said was really true as well. But first 15 years of songwriting, I was like, I would constantly had this feeling of it's not quite where I want it to be. Yeah, and I think it takes time and community, and
it's finding yourself as well, your own comfort zone. That's the other thing.
And then breaking them barriers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd also like to challenge this person and just say, why are you writing? Because I think also I've definitely been in a trap of seeing other people's success, or someone who I think is better than me, and I'm like, I'm going to write something so that it's successful, or that it looks like that, or that it goes in that direction. But actually, I know for me, songwriting has been massively just a processing space for me to process like my deepest, darkest secrets, and then present them to people. But
that one's about me.
It's actually awkward. But if I get out of that cycle of like, I'm going to write to be successful, I'm going to write to be heard, actually, I find it to be like you break those boundaries down and you're doing it for yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's great if it goes somewhere. It's great if people enjoy it. That's 100%. A great thing. But I don't think that should be its sole purpose.
I think that's the ticket that a lot of people forget, really, isn't it? It's like you don't write for other people, you write for yourself. If you're trying to write, Ed Sheeran wrote a load of songs for other people, but he didn't write for them. He wrote the song. He didn't write it saying, I'm going to write the song for this person. It's like he's written it for himself, and then someone else has just wanted it.
My personal favourite is Love Yourself by Justin Bieber, written by Ed Sheeran, and he wrote that after he finished his second album tour. Wrote the song, got really drunk, accidentally sent it to Justin Bieber. No. I was like, oh no, there goes my song. Fun fact. But no, I'm in the trap of, I'm not writing for the song to be successful, but I am like, I need a good live show opener song. I need like a song that's going to make the first song of the album sound mint, and I need that anthem song, and I'm like, every song I'm writing, that's not good enough for that. It's probably good for the second part of it, but I need that. So I've got like segments of types of song I'm trying to write.
I mean,
It's just hard to find the right one.
I've sped songs up. Like I've had like really
You've
slow.
smashed your introduction song.
You do like the sort of chipmunk voice, like.
No, well, yeah.
No regrets.
Espresso martini song. No, he's got a song that is just like, let me introduce you to the band. It's really well written.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, like if you go see James live, it's a kind of song. Like if you listen to it on, say, record or something, you've never heard it before. The first time you hear it, you'd think, oh, that's pretty cool. Probably wouldn't end up being the one you listen to all the time. You know, pick like a No Regrets or an Espresso Martini. Doesn't mean it's not a good song, James.
It's alright.
But every time you see him live, you go, that's a fantastic opener, that is.
Yeah.
You couldn't do anything like better. You could probably try. I
could try, yeah.
But yeah, you get them kind of like songs that fit certain things. I think my trap at the minute is I'm stuck in trying to find the right song for the right fit. I feel like I've written too many slow songs now. I need to write happy ones, but we all know that's not possible.
Just speed a song up, honestly, just because you've got the lyrics. The lyrics are the main thing. The lyrics and the melody. Just speed it up. I've done that loads with
some songs.
Yeah.
I don't think I could turn Flowers on a Bridge into a rap song.
No, you couldn't do something like that. You couldn't, but you know.
Imagine if we did that with your music, Phil.
Yeah.
Just sped it up a ton.
We just have to try it next time. Like drum and bass sort of.
Pressing the stop button on your loop pedal a couple of times, it changes the beat to it. So
You get like a Mumford and Sons style kind
of. So as well as the Just Ask James, we have Instagram questions.
Nice.
And what we do every week I remember to do it. We put a story on and people ask us questions. And if you're thinking, oh, I've never seen that, follow us on Instagram at Off the Stage UK. Go ask some questions. At HMV Newcastle, big shout out, Rich.
Big shout.
Says,
what a man.
Oh,
he is a good man.
Do you feel that living with another musician helps your creativity / desire to write?
I am sure it would if I did.
Well done, Rich.
He watches every episode as well, so he'll get that.
Anybody live with a musician?
I'm sure he mentioned that you used to have like a musician roommate. That's what he told.
Did. Yes.
Let's pretend we're back
in that era.
Yeah.
Right now, actually, it's
Rich fucked up.
So I did a long time ago, and that was really helpful just because I think it's this, like, they left a lot of their instruments all over the house.
Ah, that works, yeah.
And it was while I was like still like learning like guitar and stuff. I learned guitar really late, so I learned violin and piano as a kid. I picked up a guitar when I was 18, and so that was about like, and then just having like, I didn't have my own guitar, but I just started playing around with his guitar, and that was really, really helpful just to almost that culture of music. And I think, like, I don't have kids at the moment, but I think that's something like I always imagine, like my house being in the future, just having just instruments out of their cases, lying around. Maybe not my Taylor, but or 3-year-olds. But like instruments just out of their cases, and just like a piano on, and just like just able to just experiment and make sound and make noise and not worry about how good it is. So yes, thank you, Rich. That is actually a really useful question, because it makes me think about that friend who I lived with, and that was a really important part of my music journey that I've not actually thought about in that way before.
There you go.
We've got at Lord_of_the_cats.
That's the wife.
Asked, what's your favourite summer song?
I have to think about this. You guys, why don't you guys answer that one? Because that's.
You definitely look like Calvin Harris fans to me.
Oh gosh.
Oh, I've got one.
That's tough.
I've got one.
Go on.
So it's got to be, and I know it's a bit of a slightly cliche one in its genre, but Ben Howard, Old Pine.
Oh, that's the most you answer.
It's very true. Or that, or maybe Keep Your Head Up, also by Ben Howard.
Yeah,
it's just that entire album.
Ben Howard.
Yeah, I listened. Well, just that first album, Every Kingdom album, I listened to it like it had it in the car. Just like I do like some road trips around the UK and just had it on repeat, and it's just ingrained in.
So there you have it, Ben Howard, the sound of the summer.
Sound.
You heard it here first.
And final question before we go for a break. I've put this as at everyone wants to know because this was asked by 2 different people. Who are your musical influences? If you had to pick musicians.
Ben Howard.
So Ben Howard, basically a bunch of people that like most people will probably not have heard of because
so cool.
So
cool.
Yeah.
when people talk about like artists who they've all heard of, who is like household names, I've never heard of them because I just didn't listen to like mainstream music.
We were out just at
it's quite
a mutual friends
embarrassing.
the day. This music is fantastic. Who is it? I've never heard this before. It was Rumours by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
The whole album.
Yeah.
This is a banger. What's going on here?
After we recorded the Headlights music video, we were in the car on the way back with the guy who was filming it, and he put on Love Story by Taylor Swift. And Phil turns around and says, "What is this song? I've never heard it before."
I was going to say, it's like,
Written by William Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet.
I was like, what planet do you live on?
So I basically I've got a really niche musical taste, and I'm trying to listen outside my genre. Well, actually, my original genre is flipping Beethoven. So
yeah.
Take that
He's
with
the
Bowie.
OG, to be fair. Like, Beatty.
But
McBeat.
I love a bit of Dvorak. But like, yeah. So anyway, I'm trying to expand my horizons. But Ben Howard, a guy called Rue Paynes, who's phenomenal. A band called the Oh Hellos, which are the most energetic band I've ever seen in my life. There's like 13 of them packed onto a tiny stage, and they're just leaping about the stage. They're an incredible band. And a band called the Staves. They're 3 sisters from London, and they're just like voices like angels. And then a band called the Paper Kites from Australia, who
I like Paper Kites.
They're spot on.
I like them. Yes, I know them. I've heard of them.
My missus says after watching, she said you've got quite a Damien Rice-esque about
Oh
your
yeah,
sound as well.
that's a big compliment. Yeah, that's a big compliment.
I just want to take back my your Calvin Harris comment and say that I think my summer album would be So Long See You Tomorrow by Bombay Bicycle Club. I'm just taking away the Calvin Harris vibe and removing it and putting it with Bombay. Just saying.
What's yours then?
No, I was about to say How Do You Swallow So Much Sleep by Bombay Bicycle Club.
Oh, nice.
We should have a barbecue.
We probably should.
A Bombay bicycle barbecue.
Can I come?
So good.
Fantastic. Really, I just find myself gravitating back towards them during the summertime. Just nice stuff to listen to. Really good stuff. And their shows always sell out, and then they say, well, we're finished.
Yeah.
And then they sell out again. And I've still not been to see them. So if you're listening,
great.
Bombay Bicycle Club,
get on the pod. And also, no disrespect to Calvin Harris, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, if you're listening,
I'm sure we can fit you in the diary at some point.
Not that anybody asked, but Bob Marley for me. That's awesome. Just because it reminds of Florida. I think it was my younger brother bought The Legend by Bob Marley in Florida, and we listened to it in the car, and it was just like, it was the Florida palm trees and the sun setting as we were coming back from it, and it was just like dun, 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 I wanna love you. It's like such a just it always brings us back to that moment, which is pure bliss. You know, there was no school. I went,
nice.
And it was just, holidays. We're about to go to the park, and so Bob Marley legend always. Every single sound of the summer.
What's yours, Connor?
So summer song, I'm not entirely sure, but it's kind of similar to James. If you're going back on like memories and stuff, I've got a family holiday song.
Nice.
Which is by an Irish band called the Soul Doctors, and they've got a song called Will It Ever Stop Raining, and it's like
it's about North England.
It's about being really excited. Like the lyrics are, I've got sunglasses, I've got Factor 50, I've got my t-shirts, I've went shopping, all holiday clothes, but will it ever stop raining?
Nice.
And it's like going on holiday all excited, and then
That's amazing.
I remember going to New Zealand when I was like 6 or 7.
Oh,
one of
wow.
the hottest countries you can get to, and there was a flood for 2 weeks. We're just vibing, will it ever stop raining kind of thing.
Excellent.
So that's quite a summary one for me.
That's
Believe it
cool.
or not.
I like playing that song at the point as well, actually.
It's a good one, isn't it? I've kind of put it in my
Have to
Irish
listen
set.
to it.
I'll say we'll take a break.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to quickly run to the car because I'm quite conscious that I am emitting some kind of sweat odour out. because I've been in the studio all day. It's hot, and I can just feel myself heating up.
Tell you what, I'm going to open that door because it's getting. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
A light glisten.
I'm going to get a bubblegum sour, I think. And I think I'll need a few extra drinks, don't I?
Get a couple ice cubes.
Oh yeah, just a few ice cubes.
Yeah.
Right, and we'll be back soon. We'll see you in a bit. That's one.
Rip my ear off.
I love that intro.
I want to do like an Arnold Schwarzenegger thing now.
Do it.
Back. But no, we'll just...
We're back, baby!
That made me choke.
He telegraphed it so hard as well.
Hey, well, welcome back to side 3, everybody.
Oh, we're whispering for this part.
Yeah.
So this is the part where we start talking about what songs are coming out.
Yes, okay.
Okay. I don't think we should do that again.
No, we shouldn't.
This is the segment where we kind of talk about upcoming shows and songs and stuff.
Good. I'm glad to get. I think an ASMR sort of segment was probably like not necessarily what we were going for. I don't know.
Struggling.
Previous vibe.
The second sip of that, honest to God.
I'm
Right, that's fine. I'm good.
slightly concerned.
So yeah, that is the question. Have you got any shows coming up or any songs that are due to come out anytime soon you'd like to? For the record, this comes out on the 4th of July.
So this is the.
So if you've got something like the 22nd of June, it's pointless.
Sure. So I really enjoyed my tour in Wales last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear it was fantastic.
So did the Welsh? I don't know.
Or as the Welsh say, that's the Welsh word for fantastic, James.
You know what I was gonna do? I was gonna almost sound like racist by going but I'm not gonna do that.
But you did it anyway.
That's true.
You also got in mid-sip and there was a panic moment where I thought, is this all going to go wrong?
I'm actually slightly nervous every time you take a sip. I'm like, is this the last one?
I mean, it's like North Sea seawater, isn't it? It's like,
be racist to the Welsh.
No, that I do apologise actually, because there's one language I've really wanted to learn actually. It's Welsh. I don't know why. Just
Me neither. It's only one country that speaks.
Well, I know, but it's like
half of one
it's
country
kind of
that
it's
speaks
within our United Kingdom, so it's I think it's important to at least learn hello, goodbye, how you doing.
You can sing that
one pint,
song,
please.
can't you?
Yeah. To make it up to, I need to learn Welsh for the apology. Never no apology video coming up.
Next episode.
Yeah.
Do you know what? The only word I remember is microwave.
Yeah,
Pop de ping, yeah.
Pop de
ping. Pop de ping.
That's a much better word for it though.
That is.
It is much better.
It's like they're living in the year 3000. Not much has changed.
They live underwater.
If you want an interesting language tidbit, Phil speaks Dutch.
Oh, you know what? Our drummer is learning Dutch, and he said one phrase to us, and it just sounded like English, but in a Dutch accent.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically just like
because the grammar's the same.
German and English just sort of had a weird child.
Yeah.
Thank you
I've heard that.
for your Dutch listeners.
I've heard it's the
Thank
easiest.
you very much, Nederlandse mensen.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's like thank you. I think was that what did he say?
You have to bleep that out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's okay.
Yeah, just alienated a small country for you. Well, the next project. So, I've got a few gigs which we just haven't nailed down a date for, but I'm looking at doing a headliner in September, and I'm 90% sure that's happening. Probably it's the second to last weekend in September.
We
Sunday.
can check. It is
17th, the Sunday.
September. Is
No, so 24th.
24th is a Sunday.
24th,
Yeah, sorry, last one. Yeah, I'm 90% sure it's happening there at the Engine Rooms in North Shields. But I'm only 90% sure, so there's no tickets or date booked. But that is probably happening. If it's not that, there's a few. I'll update my social media and stuff when it comes out. But the next song is Giant, which is one you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And that song is definitely. I'm very excited for that. It's got we've got loads of friends came to the studio and all sang on it, and we've got like a big sort of gang vocal thing going on the chorus.
Wow.
So
It's a summer banger.
Do you know when that's out?
It's not in the summer.
90%.
I think November. Yeah, no. I'm aiming for a July-ish release. No, that's too soon, isn't it? August release.
August?
Yeah, I haven't set a date yet for that either. I'm really organised, as you can tell.
Peak summer.
Peak summer. It'll be August release. I'm like, the last thing I have to do is just finalise the artwork for it.
Cool.
And I've got like my draft 2 of that, but the artist is just settling some last things.
Yeah.
And then it'll be ready to go. Master's all done. Press release is all done.
Cool.
For all those 5 fans out there.
Yes. 6 after this episode, by the way.
Excellent.
With 2 presenters.
Yeah, we're one of the 5.
Double up.
So when I was doing this brief for the episode, I'd sent it to James earlier today, and he sent in a new segment which is related to songs that are coming out that you've got. And he just wants to know.
Oh yeah, introduce.
Yeah, it's your bit, James.
Yeah,
You did some work today.
Glad.
And it's just about the song that's going to come out.
Yeah.
So where do you record the song, and what's the recording process that you do?
My ideal recording process, my ideal Sunday, is I like to record it at home on Logic with all my stuff home, and just basically get all the ideas down on paper and just feel out some things, and especially like if I'm doing like string arrangements, things like that, then I like time just to play around with those. And then once I get it to a point where I'm like, I think this is the direction I'm going, then I bring it to the studio, which I go to Broadwater Studios in Gateshead, which is absolutely phenomenal studio. They've got some really, really nice equipment, and Paul is kind of like the honorary 5th member of the band.
He's so is that your main go-to then, Broadwater Studios?
Yeah, I highly recommend them. I've got a really good working relationship with them. They have really competitive rates, and it's just a really nice, friendly studio. And I think the people they've got a number of people on staff there who are just very talented, and like some of them have had quite like established music careers themselves. They work with like big names, so like they produced the Longest John's album.
Oh yeah.
The Wellerman. So they made that.
That's cool.
And
you don't know Fleetwood Mac, but you know the Longest John.
Longest John. Get in the 21st century. I said 20th century then. No, he's 1700. And also, who else do I work with? Oh, they have stuff like they work with Universal quite a lot, and they have like these hip hop artists come over from the States, and they bring them across. They land in Gateshead, or in Newcastle. They get the bus to Gateshead, a taxi to Gateshead, and they're like in the middle of this housing estate in Gateshead. Like, what? Where am I? Where am I? But it's like this incredible studio. It's just tucked away, middle of nowhere.
That's cool. Because I think that's kind of an important thing. You get everything down first on like what you want, because that's the longest process really. It's getting the structure, the demo and stuff, so that when you actually paying the big bucks, so to speak, it means that you've already got your ideas almost down, so you can just kind of replicate that to someone who knows a lot, and then can make your song that little bit.
And I think when I was making my first album, I call them EP albums because they're slightly longer than EPs. But
I like, you know what? I've never liked the word EP. I always like the word album. I don't know why. EP just sounds... LP sounds cool.
LP, yeah.
But EP, album. Just say album. Let's call it album.
I've very much had everything completely finished before, and I was like, I want it to be exactly like we've done it. And I think over the course of that, like, Paul was really good in just giving like little hints and things here, and I just grew up. We developed like that shared language and trust around that. And then for this one, I think I'd be much happier to bring things either slightly more sort of embryonic state, or having like being more happy to like chop and change stuff and take stuff out. And I think that's been quite a fun process of exploration. And also because 2 of the songs I knew that nothing was going to change on them. So almost I had like that budget that I was going to spend, so I was able to invest a bit more budget in a couple of songs, particularly Old Life and Black Crow. So and take a bit more risks on those.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, that's good.
Trust your producer is the other thing, and all. It's like it's now like a good. You know what? They don't. I've said this before, a long time ago, actually, on the podcast. But if you ever look at kind of older award ceremonies, like in the 60s and the 70s, whenever there's like a song up for an award, the guy who's offering the award would always say who the producer was. But you don't get that anymore. And I find it strange because you don't realise how much of an important part the actual production process is in making a song, and the importance of a good producer and a good studio. But yeah, people should get more recognition.
I've got to be a heartburn.
Yeah, well,
I just watched you absolutely guzzle that, and I thought, oh dear.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
I remember the first time I went into the studio, and I remember asking you, or maybe I asked Paul, I can't quite remember, but I basically said something like, oh, how long have you guys known each other? Because I thought they'd been friends for like 10 years. And they were like, oh, we've only just met, or like only just started working together. And I was like, no way. Like it had a great relationship. And I think that is so beneficial, isn't it, to making music? If your producer understands you. Yeah. And I feel like you're so metaphorical in your writing that actually having Paul understand you on such a deeper level is just unleashes you like creatively.
Yeah, and it's just like, I think I almost have this sort of like thing of percentages of like, I feel like I get it like 80% of the way there, and then it's like he doesn't just fill the next 20%, he adds another 80%. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like, so it's like, I know 160% isn't like a thing, but like
it can be.
It's like, it's so much, it's that thing working with these guys, it's like it's always so much more than this, like some of the parts is bigger than the, wait, what am I trying to say? Some of the parts are bigger than the whole, that's not the thing.
So when Alicia said before that you're always very metaphorical, she just meant you're confusing.
I'm not confusing until people are like, yeah, there must be something in there. I'm like,
no, that's just that's what I'm like, to be fair. Like,
yeah, but
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean, because I get my words muddled up and stuff like that. So I know what I'm saying. So I know what you're saying as well. So just like that, I'm getting my words gibberish. Yeah. Speak fluent gibberish. It's not Welsh.
No.
Done it again, haven't I?
So a couple more before we're done here. We're going to ask for 3 questions for next week's guest, which is the Primaveras. Can we get 1 question of each of you?
Are you going to go first, Phil?
Yeah, okay, because thought of one.
And then you'll spark inspiration.
Spark inspiration. So, what is the funniest thing that's happened to you at a gig that you've played at?
Good question.
That is a good question.
Mine is, what is the quirkiest place you've ever written a song?
Ooh, I like that.
You're getting deep into kind of like, you know, I was at a bus stop.
Yeah, exactly. Or just
we just have to hope that they did whatever they did. It was
at a swingers club.
Yeah, I don't want to put them under pressure now. And they're like, you know,
I was on a rock
you just never know, do you?
Yeah. It's my quirkiest place.
Rock on a beach.
Where were you?
Rock on a beach.
Oh, that is quirky.
Took the guitar down on the beach, just sat on the rock and watched loads of people walk past. Like, what the fuck's he doing? And my paper tried to blow away in the wind.
That is cool.
Just in my head, I've got this image of you, like this tiny little rock, and you just sort of stood on top of it, like.
Yeah. I'll make up for it with a small guitar. Final question. It's got to be the best one.
Yeah, no pressure.
Oh, no pressure
Save
at all.
the best till last.
How many people in the band? How long does this question
is that the question? How many people in the band?
How many?
No.
I've never met them.
I think I'd like to say 4.
That's a safe guess, that is.
Yeah, I'm just.
So 17
that's a calculated guess.
So obviously a nice range of answers to this question. So if you could, what am I going to ask? If you could summon and command any animal at will,
okay,
what animal would you summon?
What would be the purpose of the summoning? That would be the other.
Well, that's for them to decide, I suppose.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just as a thing.
That's a kind of like a Pokemon question, that, isn't it? It's like,
Hey, on brand today.
Yeah.
Alongside Carsten Press.
oh yeah, God, you've got a Pokemon too.
Don't forget. Never forget.
Professionalism. I dress for work. Studio all day. I'm in joggers and a Pokemon top. That's how I do it.
Yeah, you got to be comfy.
Dress for the job you want.
Well, my issue is I went in shorts last time because it was a hot day, but it's a room filled with air conditioning, and I was frozen after 9 hours of being indoors. Like, we're going warm today, and then I regret it later on.
God, the prices these days, you're probably paying an extra 50 quid just for the aircon. I'd have told them to turn it off. Yeah, give us a bit of a discount.
Getting extra tracking.
Yeah, great questions. I'm trying to think of the animal one as well.
Oh yeah.
Was it what?
I like the animal one.
I like the animal one.
I'm just trying to think of.
Want to hear your answers as well?
I would summon. I don't know.
Summon. It's the way you said summon. I'm like, it's like from midair or like from the woods.
Like, do you know, I'd love to summon a bat just so I could be like, I'm Batman.
That's a great expression.
Thank you.
Well, I was thinking like a dragon or something, but
Yeah, that's what I
That
was
sounds.
yeah,
That'd be
sounds
sick, wouldn't
safe.
it?
yeah. Well, you know.
Just
But
park,
if it was
park it in your
if
garage.
Summon,
I
not
was,
control.
if I was, yeah, that's true. Actually, 50 chance I'd get to befriended, but
I think it was less than 50% chance.
I'll offer it a few cats. I don't know.
It's traditionally what they do. Game of Thrones, or just here's a cat.
Yeah.
So another one we started on the pod is we're asking every guest if you could recommend a local artist we can give a shout out. Is there anyone you've met or collabed on the music scene that isn't part of the band that you can be like, go check this person out?
Do you know what I'm struggling with now is actually like I've got quite a few names
Do you have a
coming to
couple
my
in?
head.
Give away top three and make the
Top
rest think,
three.
oh, we're not in the top three.
Oh no, that's worse. Oh man. Oh, this is really hard. Okay,
Top three, and we've got to guess the order.
top three. So I've got to say, I'm a big fan of Katie Mack. I think she's. Have you heard of her?
Was that Katie Mack?
Katie Mack, yeah, Katie Mack. Yeah, so she is definitely up and coming. I think she's currently got like a internship with the Sage, and she makes some phenomenal music. Her album Birds, big fan. And she just makes like it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like really like beautiful, like rhythmic folk.
Yeah.
But with like
kind of,
interesting sounds as well. But she's a cellist and she plays and sings at the same time.
Oh.
Got a great, really unique voice. So that's one. This is tricky. I probably got to do a little bit of a shout out to Maya Smollis.
So good.
Yeah, I think that she's just got. I think she gets the thing of like collaboration. She's big in collaboration and working with other people, and I think she's like. I think that's really like nice, just because it's. It's that's what like we're not meant to be in competition with each other. I think the music world can feel competitive, and it's like
it's such a strange thing because like you technically are competing, but the more you compete and think, like, I'm trying to think of the words to use here. It's like the less you work together, the less it helps. It doesn't help anybody if you're feeling kind of like you're my competitor. There's enough space to go around for everybody. So if the more people work together, honestly,
it's not a zero sum. Like it's like there's not. Sorry, I totally cut you off there, but
that's alright.
It's alright. He mumbled a lot.
Yeah,
but like
it's
not like people can have there's not a limited number of artists people can like or listen to.
Exactly. The more people
playlist full.
Sorry, the more people
again.
You're gonna say, well, just say the more people support each other. The more people support each other, the bigger the community is. I mean, what always inspires me is the scene in London in the 1960s, where if you ever look at gig posters, like the classic gig posters now, but you'll see like the Rolling Stones headline and The Rolling Stones were a band in the 1960s that played.
Right. Do they
Yeah.
sort of like cavemen sort of?
Yeah,
That's how they started, yeah.
Fronted by a nice man called Michael.
yeah, yes.
Michael
he,
Jackson.
he jumps about a bit. No,
Michael
but you'll see so that you have a gig by the Rolling Stones headline.
I have heard of the Rolling Stones.
I know, yeah.
I'm not that much under a rock.
But then you'll have support acts by the Kinks and the Beatles, and then you'll have
real insects. So these guys are really cool.
But then it's what I mean. You get a poster, the Kinks headline, and then the Rolling Stones will be support. So it was a scene where they were all. It was the same scene kind of thing, and they all just helped each other out. So some people were fans of the Rolling Stones, some people were fans of. This is before they were famous and stuff like that. But they all supported each other within the local scene, and I remember, especially in Sunderland, when I first started the original, it felt very like nobody helped anyone, where it was kind of it was competition. We can't have you selling out gigs because we want to sell out our gigs. Where if you said, okay, well, let's do a joint gig together, and then your fans will come, my fans will come. They're just that. I mean, maybe that was the case with some people, but I didn't feel that with the scene. But yeah, support each other.
But I think that's what I feel like that's the DNA of this podcast that you guys run.
That's the idea,
you are
yeah.
pushing
Pretty
the
much.
entire scene forwards, and I think that's it's huge. I'm really grateful for that you run this in such a free way in terms of you're really giving, and I think that's your gift to the Northeast music scene.
That's it, because I mean, what we get out of it is, again, more people coming together, the centralised thing, and everybody helps everyone.
Yeah.
That's basically it, really. It's
Gonna jump in with my third.
Yeah, of course,
artist,
yes.
and there's loads of honourable mentions, but it's got to be Benjamin Amos.
Yeah, I agree.
You think that one was coming?
He's so good.
Yeah, he's after the O'Hillos, the second most energetic performer I've ever met.
He's unreal live.
He's unreal. Live is I've seen him four times now live, and each time it's just he's better and better. He's just I feel like I learn so much as a performer watching him, and he's got a real musicality to him. Writes really intricate parts. Got a big band. He just brings so much energy, and you just can't help but dance. There you go. I gave you a little reel.
You gave him the reel.
But yeah, that's my dancing.
He lives within every performance, I find.
He's
in it.
Yes.
And he can go from falsetto, sort of this breathy vocal, which I find really inspiring, to roaring. But his voice could just travel and travel and travel. It is amazing. He's really good.
Just the energy. It's just insane. So lots of honourable mentions I wish I could mention, but if I start down that list, I will start to miss off important people just through forgetting.
You will upset people.
so I was thinking, why didn't you mention me? That's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've done this section for quite a while. No one's mentioned us.
I wasn't expecting. Oh God, chaos!
Well, we've lost that one.
All right.
Oh no!
That's the ghost kicking in again.
Yeah.
You can analyse the video footage afterwards.
Oh, I'm joking.
It's just so you have to edit that out.
There it is.
So final bit. After this, we're going
Just to make it more professional.
And record a song. If people were to find you, what's the social media tags?
So I've tried to make them all the same. It's all at Philip Jonathan Music. That's Philip Jonathan Music.
Cool.
Philip with one L. Music with
That's
one S.
important, because is it two L's? Is it one L?
It's one L.
Philip,
He's just said
Philip with one L. Well, that's what I was saying.
Christ, James with one A here.
There was one time where you were telling someone your Spotify and you typed in your name, and I'll never forget this because I was so humbled. I tapped you on the shoulder and I was like, it's two L's, and you were like, no, it's one L. I was like, I just told you how to spell your name. That was embarrassing.
Actually, your name is spelled like this.
It's with two L's.
That's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the rest of it. I don't do TikTok.
Yeah.
Well, I have one TikTok because I'm practicing my dancing. Obviously going to bring
We've
that.
seen, yeah. It's
Actually, I do have a TikTok. What am I talking about? I have TikTok, and I've started uploading dance moves as of tomorrow. But yeah, same thing. And then my favourite way to communicate, and I know this is a bit old school, but I actually love the email newsletter things
from the 20th century.
Yeah, but like I just find it's a much more like in-depth and personal way of. I don't like spam people, but it's like every, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 times a year. Every time there's like an important release or something, but I get a chance to go into a bit more detail about like behind the song, and you can find that link in bio. There's like an email sign up thing if you're interested.
Do you know what I would absolutely watch? Like, if you set up your TikTok and you explain the song you're gonna dance to before you dance to it,
and they're doing interpretive dance.
And just explain why you're gonna dance to this song. So today I'm going to dance to.
I'd watch that too.
WAP by Nicki Minaj.
Oh, no.
And I picked this particular song because I feel the dance moves are.
To yourself, David, don't research that song.
Yeah, don't even. No.
I am aware of that song.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Doesn't know who the Rolling Stones are. I'm joking.
You know what? I deliberately said that joke because I knew you would know who the Rolling Stones were at least.
You hoped.
Coming down, guys. To our viewers, listeners, if you haven't already, follow us. We are at Off the Stage UK, at Off the Stage 2 on Twitter, because somebody stole our original domain.
Sunbirds.
Drop us some reviews, 5-star reviews on Spotify. Follow us on whatever else your podcast come on, except for Apple, because I never figured that out yet.
3 years.
Yeah, we'll get there. Comment, like, subscribe, YouTube. You know the crack. Thank you very much for coming down, guys.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a really good podcast.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it, yeah.
The final question we're going to ask you is, what song are you going to play for us?
Oh, what's the name of it? Working Things Out. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to do Working Things Out. It's basically the only song that I can do that isn't going to be too loud. I think it'll be
We had a saxophone player really once.
Oh, really? I think yeah, but it's not out yet. It's probably the most recent song I've written, and it probably won't be out for a little while.
It's quite an exclusive.
Exclusive. It's an exclusive. Guys.
Exclusive. Do I have it? I don't think I've got a thing for an exclusive. I'll get copyright for that.
It's got Lord of the Rings on a soundboard.
It gets copyright strikes every time I use it. But, I mean, this is the exclusive, isn't it?
It's alright.
Yeah, it's alright.
Good exclusive.
Yeah, it's a good exclusive.
And a review, I guess. At the time.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. He does actually do reviews.
He does.
But like most of the reviews are just like
It's alright.
that's what he says all the time. Just like
It's alright, yeah. He'll do.
But yeah, thank you for coming down. We're going to set the table up and we'll get you to play your tune.
yeah,
Thanks for having us.
yeah. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
That's right,
Getting better.
I just waved as like
Did you wait?
Direct eye contact right down the lens.
literally like
we get more YouTube viewers than we
Hi.
cool. Okay. Alright, ready? Good. This is Working Things Out. I used to believe things were just as they seemed. Things were just as they seemed. Thought I knew. I thought I knew. I have worked these things out. Now I'm working things out, and I don't know. I used good as they say. You still involved these days. Read through the lines, saw another hand behind, and another hand behind. Stories become supernatural. I the collateral eyes, the mundane. You as good as they say. You still involved these days. I'm slowly fading.
trying to work things out. I couldn't see, but I looked anyway. You were looking my way, you hadn't moved. All of this time you were shepherding me. You were constant as constant can be. I'm starting to see this complexity. Stop and stare. Slowly reaching out to take your outstretched hand. You're here with Round one. So that's, you call me 40 take Phil? So.
Yeah, 40 take Phil. That was good. 40 take.
Off the Stage podcast. Make sure you tune in next time.